everybody, and welcome to episode 19 of Two Guys, Zero Planners, brought to you by the fine folks over at Pen Chalet. If you want great stationery at good prices with fast shipping, well, on orders over $50 in the US, head on over to penchalet.com. Then click on that radio podcast link at the top of the page and enter Two Guys, that's the number 2 guys, all one word, for 10% off site-wide. And while you're there, you may want to pick up the limited edition Pen Chalet Colorverse exclusive. There's only 300 of them made, so it is a limited supply, so definitely go check that out. And thank you to Pen Chalet for sponsoring Two Guys, Zero Planners. So, Urban.
Yeah.
You're going to be doing a lot of talking today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a little bit lazy on the show notes. Apologies there. And I decided that getting ghost pepper in my eye was a good idea, so I'm going to try to not whimper in pain while we look at some very inky topics this week.
Plus, I haven't been on the show for a while, so I have a lot to talk about anyway.
Yes, you do. It was interesting having Mike here. I legitimately forgot I wasn't talking to you, so that slip up at the beginning of the episode was literally me being so used to talking to you that I was like, okay, yep, there's a mistake that I'm keeping in the show.
It was a fun show to listen to. Yeah.
You should have heard the stuff we cut.
Yes, it went all over the place. I guess it was more in the original version.
Yes, there was probably a good 20, 25 minutes that ended up getting cut. It was interesting to say the least. But welcome back. Looks like a lot has been going on over at FPC.
Yeah, not so much. So I finally built a tiny feature again after a long time. So when you have your list of currently inked pens, there's now a tiny button that you can click, and then the system records that you use that pen on that day. Eventually, I actually want to use that data for something, maybe some statistics on which pens you use the most or something. But for now, it's just a button and a list of entries.
Well, that's how all data collection starts at some point. I actually like the concept of using it at some point to see, okay, are people using this Sailor the most with this particular ink, or are they using this Pelican the most with this ink? I think that'd be kind of interesting.
Well, also for your personal collection, right? You can then build a list and say, hey, you've used that pen, I don't know how many times this year or something.
I have to hold on to pens long enough.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there's 6 that I'm not selling, so those are permanent, but pretty much everything else qualifies as a catch and release.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you can then still get the statistics for the inks.
That is true. Like how many times I circle back around to using Yvgenii in my Nakaya.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still using that ink in there. That converter is going to be stained to green by the time I'm done.
Yeah, but it's great to find an ink that sort of fits.
So here's a good question. How did you develop your mind for statistics? Is that something that you grew into, or was that something that's just always been there and you decided to run with it?
I don't even remember. I don't know. I mean, I always liked having the statistics on stuff and collecting the data. I mean, as a programmer, that's a lot of what you do anyway. So it sort of came naturally, I guess. Plus, this feature is more or less inspired by what David Figwood is doing with his spreadsheet for his pens anyway.
You're just providing the spreadsheet to all of the users over at FPC.
I mean, yeah, basically that's one feature of his that I hadn't implemented yet, and I wanted to get around to it. Yeah.
Well, it definitely looks like it's going to be interesting to watch that develop.
Yeah, let's see when I can next find the time to actually do something with it.
I have a strange feeling you'll find the time.
Yeah, eventually. After the summer holidays, maybe.
Oh, yeah, it is that time of year. See, we just do this thing where we just continue to work through everything, so there's not really a summer holiday for a lot of us.
With 2 kids, it's not that easy.
You have fun with that.
Yeah, I will.
Wow, no question about it. Just going straight to, yes, I'm going to enjoy it. I envy you, Urban. I envy the Well, actually, no, I'm having to be more selective about what I envy. You do you. You do you.
Okay.
So what's this about someone using FPC to sell ink samples?
Yeah, I recently looked at the statistics on which pages were most frequented, and then somehow some user's page came up at fairly high in the list, and I looked at it, and it turns out someone is using FPC to sell ink samples in the Philippines, which is kind of an interesting concept because it's probably the easiest way to get a list of inks out there.
Let's see, 353 PHP to USD. Wow. Okay, so if I'm looking at this right, they're selling the complete set of 8 inks, 5 mils each for the Waterman set for $6.81. Wow.
Is that good or bad? Yeah. I mean, a bottle of Waterman ink is like about not much more, right?
Right. Well, I mean, here's the thing though. If they're doing the entire set, so you're getting essentially 40 mils of ink and you're getting color variation. So if they're doing the entire set, and if the entire set is only $6 and some change, that's not bad. I mean, then there's shipping, but still. I may have to look into this. Now I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Although I guess that begs the question, how do you feel about this?
Oh, I don't care. I'm totally fine with people using the site in any way they want to. That's totally fine with me. I mean, I'm not responsible for anything there, right? I mean, looking at where the people are coming from, it looks like some kind of Facebook group or something, and then someone just put the list up there. That's my guess right now, and why not?
Yeah, it's a good place to keep track of everything.
So the one thing I did in response to that is to show an extra banner on those user pages when people are not logged in, to sort of say, hey, wouldn't it be nice if you created an account and then you could do this and that? Let's see. Maybe I get something out of it like that.
Wait, now that banner you're talking about, because I'm not actually logged in, I'm just here. Is that green banner?
I think it's green. Yeah, could be.
The one that says that you can compare inks listed here with your own. Just sign up here.
Yeah.
I like how you've got it tucked in there. It's subtle, but it sticks out just enough to get you to want to sign in.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe it does.
Now, here's the big question. Nope. I don't have my sign-in saved in the Google, so I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to remember that.
I can, of course, look it up for you.
I want to see if I can get it on my own.
I could also log in as you and enter data for you.
Please don't. I don't want to give you any more work than you already have. I mean, people may not know it, but the show notes only look good because you actually do all the work for them.
Yeah, but I don't do a lot of work there anyway.
Yeah, well, hey, you do more than you think. I guess one thing, would you be maybe tempted to create kind of an ink swap section of FPC, like dedicated to either selling or trading samples?
Well, it works in as far as if you are logged in and you're on the user page of someone else, you can sort of only display the inks that you own and that the other person doesn't, or the other way around. So in that sense, this already sort of works, but it's not a full system where then you can pick stuff and give a list to the other person.
I see many ways that this can go, and about 90% of them are good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the bad things, I guess, would be FPC suddenly becoming a kind of a black market for inks and just kind of a den of ink thieves just trying to prey on all of us poor people that want to get that elusive, exclusive ink.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, I leave 10% for just craziness, so I would say that qualifies as craziness.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's a huge site. The chances aren't that big.
Well, there is that, but still. Now, let's see here. Getting ready to go through your Instagram stuff.
Yes, and didn't buy any pens, but I bought some ink. I happened to look at at Amazon at some point, and then I saw a bottle of Pelican Edelstein Olivine for €7, including shipping, and I guess I couldn't say no to that. I only had a sample, and it's a nice color. And while I was at it, I also bought a bottle of Diamond Oxford Blue. Yeah, I'd seen that a lot online, and it's really great color as well.
I really do like the Oxford Blue. I may have to actually pick up a bottle of that. Not the giant bottle, but the smaller one.
Yeah, and it also flows really nicely.
Remind me towards the end, once we've gone through your inks, I do have one ink I want to follow up on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to remember.
Actually, I'll make a note of it really quick.
You know, we have a document where you can write it down.
Yeah, I know. What do you think of Olivine?
Yeah, I really like it from a color point of view. I mean, it is sort of interesting how there are so many inks that are named like the stone or like the olive, and no one is even remotely similar to any of the others.
I mean, that's kind of like turquoise.
That's true. Yeah. When is it a turquoise and when it is a blue? And yeah, there's a lot of variations in there. That's true.
A lot of variations. I still say KWZ turquoise is the best turquoise. People don't at me. Don't comment at me. It's just the best turquoise. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of real turquoise. I'm more into light blues myself, I must say.
I think my obsession with turquoise has to do with the fact that I grew up in the Southwest United States. And you do see a lot of turquoise in Native American jewelry.
Okay.
It's grown on me.
Mm-hmm. And then speaking of blues, I decided why not mix some of my inks that I'm not going to use just like that. So I got out my bottle of Organic Studio Nitrogen because it just doesn't flow right. Plus, it's just too much sheen for me. And my bottle of Gerbin Bleu Ancien. So this blue shimmer ink with the gold shimmer. Yeah, and I mixed them 2-to-1. So 2 parts Jacques Herbin and 1 part Organic Studio. And obviously, as concentrated as nitrogen is, it has basically the same color as nitrogen. Even though the other one is more of a royal blue, but you don't really notice.
Yeah, I was about to say it looks like you did the ratio completely backwards.
Yeah, it really does. But yeah. And now I have a nitrogen that actually flows nicely and doesn't own, and there's still some sheen, but not only sheen. And there's some shimmer in it. So that's actually a nice combination.
The only thing I didn't like about nitrogen was anytime you touched one of the parts that had heavy sheen on it, it seemed to never dry. So, like, I would touch a journal entry 2 or 3 days later, and I'd lift my finger, which was dry before I touched the page, and I would have sheen particles all over my fingertip.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why that bottle got dumped out.
I think I saw an Instagram post from Organic Studio at some point where they even said they prefer it diluted 1-to-1 or something.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting when the manufacturer is saying, hey, take my ink and dilute it. I kind of went overboard.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the thing, right? To get the sheen, it needs to be really concentrated, and then you end up with the smearing and not working so well because it sort of sticks on the nib.
You know, I guess we could actually talk about the thing I was going to circle back around to since we're talking about inks with interesting flaws. On the last episode, Mike and I were talking about the Anderillium cephalopod inks. And yeah, I try to stay positive and upbeat about a lot of things, especially since I'm doing reviews. I try to stay neutral, but neutral positive. So I don't want to just be completely negative and bash on something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard giving those inks a 4.5 out of 5 when I did the YouTube review. The Colossal Squid is a very nice blue-black. I really like the color, but the ink only performs well on Tomoe River paper. And even then, only the dry variant of the ink performs perfectly on Tomoe River paper.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter how well the ink flows or anything else. If I can only use one variation on one type of paper, you've got to go back to the drawing board. It's not a good thing to have happen.
Yeah, that is a bit. I mean, to make an ink that doesn't work on Tomoe River is actually pretty hard.
Yeah, did you see the remnants of the water sample in the video?
I'm not sure.
It was bad enough that the ink, with a moderate amount of water, the ink soaked all the way through the Rhodia paper onto the desk.
Okay, yeah. Now I remember. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it went just straight all the way through to the desk. I've never had an ink do that on the water test at all. I mean, I've had the paper rip before the ink gave way, but I've never actually had ink just treat the paper like it wasn't there.
Yeah.
Now, on the plus side, he said he's been listening to feedback, and he's doing a second variant of the formulation, because I guess he also found some issues with the fungicide that he was using.
True, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't strong enough or whatever the case. So he did a release that he was going to go ahead and redo the formulation for that. And while he was at it, he was going to take the feedback that it just bled and feathered everywhere and try to redo the formula to where it was actually a tame ink. So we'll see how that goes. He sent me a message saying that he's going to go ahead and send me a new bottle of each formulation so I can go ahead and do a A/B test or a head-to-head test and see if there's actually any difference.
I mean, at least he is sort of open about it and saying, "Hey, I made a mistake, and I'll try to fix it."
Yeah, I'm really happy that he's owning up to it, and he did offer a refund. I did turn down the refund because he was going to give me a refund plus replace the product, and I'm like, no, you're brand new at this, you're learning, you're willing to put the time and the effort in to at least try to make it better. So I'm willing to be a financial guinea pig on this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we'll see how it comes out.
Yeah.
At least it's not like a situation where there was an actual insect in the bottle of ink.
Yeah, did you have that?
No, but someone did with another brand that's been around a lot longer and has a little bit of a bigger name. Yeah, it was, oh my goodness, it was posted on Instagram last year. I think it was last year at the DC Pen Show. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting how that got in there.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that one out, but somehow an insect got into a bottle of ink from a bigger brand, and yeah, it's interesting. Away from insects and ink, though, what's this with a whole bunch of ink cartridges?
Yeah, so I bought some more ink, some of the Graf von Faber-Castell inks. Yeah, I generally like those colors. They're like a lot of the Faber-Castell stuff. They're a bit different than what other manufacturers do, and I really enjoy those inks. But the bottles are big and expensive. I think they're like 75 ml, and I mean for the amount of ink that's in there, they're not terribly expensive. But yeah, still. So I went and bought ink cartridges instead because Graf von Faber-Castell offers all of their colors also as cartridge form. And then like a small pack of 6 cartridges is like €3 something. And yeah, so I bought 10 different kinds. And now I'm here trying out all the Faber-Castell inks.
I like how one of your Instagram followers said that it looked like you had a whole bunch of boxes of chocolates.
Yeah, but I don't buy that chocolate, such small chocolates. No, I don't think so.
Well, I would, but I'm also a fan of overpriced tiny things.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not talking about pens. I have other addictions that are really, really expensive, yet small.
Or the coffee how much was the shipping?
Yeah, the shipping was almost as much as the coffee itself, yes.
Yeah.
I'm actually having Phil ship me coffee from there next time. That
Mhm.
way it'll be cheaper. And I've already started the savings account for the coffee that's like $75 per ounce.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
I mean, I made it official. The Inkwell is a stationery and coffee review channel, so I've got to start doing more coffee reviews,
Mm-hmm.
which I think I can do.
That's the cool thing about pens. You can use them, and with the coffee, you just drink it then.
I wonder how many people would actually be triggered by me taking my nakaya and stirring my coffee with it.
I guess it depends on how hot the coffee is, if you can see the steam coming out of it or not.
You could. The bad thing is, the reason I was wondering about it is I was thinking about doing a recreation of an accident that happened last week.
Did you accidentally stir your coffee with your pen?
Yes, I had. I use rather thick stirring implements when I stir my coffee because they don't hit the sides of the cup and make that annoying noise as much.
Okay.
And they're also made out of wood.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was also cleaning out the Nakaya. It happened to be sitting on the counter away from the garbage disposal for people that are wondering. And without looking, I picked up something that felt right. And after stirring, I realized that no, it was the body of my Nakaya.
Well, I guess now you know that you can do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, the body looks in great shape. It doesn't look like there's any deformities in the Urushi. So I think we're good. I mean, I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. But yeah, the first thing I did was make sure it was dry and then put it in a not steaming hot area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
I hope I didn't do any serious damage to it. And here I am thinking, well, what if I actually recreate that and get it on film? What is wrong with me? I already put the pen through torture once.
The unique selling point of your channel, the cross section between coffee and pens in any possible way.
I still remember the old water tests I used to do with like bleach and household cleaners to see how the ink would hold up.
and the dishwasher.
Mm-hmm. Or the one time I actually tossed coffee on the ink. That was fun. I need to do more stuff like that.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
well, I've got a washing machine. Might as well.
That is true. Yeah, but then you're more testing how the paper stands up to it, right?
I would also need to get a GoPro to see how much of the ink actually leaks into the water, and I'd need a waterproof camera to do so.
Oh, so you want to put the camera into the washing machine? Okay,
why not?
That would be fun.
Enough about my insanity, though. Let's talk about a pen that may not meet a gruesome end with me being its owner.
I've been loaned a Waterman Karen. It's already back to his owner by now. Yeah, it was interesting to try it out, but it sort of wasn't my kind of pen. It had an extra fine nib, which was more like an extra fine architect, I would say, which isn't necessarily bad, but I already have a platinum UEF nib that is basically like that. And somehow I prefer the body shape of that one. Yeah, so I've been more or less cured of buying a Waterman Karen by now. It's sort of, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to find a metal pen that I like anyway, and that one certainly wasn't it then. But it was great that I could just try it out and didn't have to buy it for it.
I at least like the color of this pen. It's a nice color.
Yeah, I also didn't like the color.
Wow. Wow, we're polar opposites there.
More importantly, I got 2 pens back from Annabelle from the Netherlands. She's currently trying to improve her nib grinding skills, so I sent her 2 of my pens, and she worked on them for free with the sort of caution that she may or may not yet know what she's doing. And
fair word of warning.
Yeah, I didn't pay for it, so that's a fair trade, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really like them. So now I have two pens with a cursive italic grind. The one is my oldest pen ever. It's like 15 years old, maybe. A Parker Frontier that I bought, I think, when I got into university or something. And yeah, it had a medium nib before, and it was a bit boring after a while. I don't know, after 15 years. Yeah, and now it's fun. It has a nice grind, and it's also wetter. And the other one is one of my actually expensive pens, the Diplomat Excellence A Plus. So it's like the other Diplomat Excellence pens. It just has a screw cap,
Right.
and yeah, that is also nice. A broad cursive italic that is super wet is a lot of fun. And I'm currently trying out all the Faber-Castell inks in that one. Well, I put in the first yesterday, so it's not like I have tried them out all. That's sort of that's the thing on the pen front. In about 2 weeks, maybe we'll go on vacation, visiting friends in Belgium and the Netherlands, and our friends happen to live in The Hague. And of course, I thought, isn't there a stationery store that I know of in The Hague? And it turns out that's where Ackermann is. And I then thought, if I visit, I should probably buy something. And for some reason, I can't come up with anything because I already have 2 of their ink bottles. And for some reason, I can't. I don't know. All the other colors seem a bit, not interesting enough that I would need them. So I might actually go to a pen shop and not buy anything. Who knows? It's probably not going to be true. It's unlikely that I will leave without buying anything. But yeah, for some reason, right now, I can't think of anything.
Oh, let's see here. I may think of something for you. And yes, I plan on paying shipping for it. And paying for it. Maybe. Hopefully. Ooh. Wow. Okay. I like those 2 colors. Number 2, emerald green, and number 10, sap green.
Oh, you're looking at the Dutch Masters, right?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, the light green I was considering, but I already have the other light green, from the standard line. So they're fairly similar.
If I was going to go with the standard line, honestly, I would go with number 27.
I don't have it open. Which one would that be?
Word that starts with a B that I'm not going to want to mispronounce. Groen? Yeah. It's one of the greens. I just can't pronounce it because I'm horrible at stuff before I actually research things.
Yeah, even I wouldn't know how to pronounce that one. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the bad thing is I would be sitting here probably for the better part of 3 days just going over the pronunciation over and over and over before doing a review about this ink. And I would still get it wrong.
I'm sure we could find someone to sort of give you an audio file with the correct pronunciation.
I'm thinking if I asked Jim, if I asked Robo Jim nice enough, I think he could probably do that. But yeah, those would be the 2. Those would be the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Either those 2 Dutch Masters or that particular standard ink.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe the number 11, the turquoise. But I already have enough turquoise inks, so I don't know.
Oh boy, now I've got to take a look at that one. Oh, really, Urban? Why did you have to say something? That is a nice turquoise. And what do you mean you have enough turquoise? You can never have enough turquoise.
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Okay.
Really?
Maybe then the turquoise, yeah, if you say so.
The Dutch Master Sea Blue is actually pretty nice as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go ahead and spend the rest of my evening getting lost in ink. and maybe trying to. You said I've got 2 weeks to get the money to you to mule me some ink.
Well, you have some time to tell me what to get. Money is. You can also give me the money afterwards, of course.
I may have to roll a die to see which ink I get. I'm assuming since you're going to be going directly to the source that what they have in stock is not going to be a problem.
That would be the hope, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that would definitely be the hope. Wow. So yeah, I'm going to get lost in ink. It's been great having you back on the show, and till 2 weeks, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.